The first thing we're going to talk about is magic loop, and this is a very common one. I think it's probably the easiest one of the two easiest to use. So what you need to have is a circular knitting needle like we had, but it needs a very long cord, like a 40-inch cord. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cast on like 20 stitches. Okay, so I have 20 stitches on the needles. I'm going to count off 10 stitches, which will be the midpoint, and I'm going to pull those down a little bit into the cord, and I'm going to hold the cord that has my working yarn on in my right hand, and I'm going to pinch this cord and pull it through the long part. So I'm holding this with my right hand so these stitches don't go anywhere. And I'm pulling my other needle till I come to those stitches. So that will be on the front, and then I'm going to go ahead and push these back onto the needle. So now I have 10 stitches on the back needle with the working yarn and 10 stitches on the front needle. And then I have this long cord. So now that we have this, making sure that my working yarn is in the back, I'm going to join these to make a circle. And basically what we're going to do, we're going to knit one, and then we'll knit this row, knit this needle, knit this row. So it just kind of goes around and it'll end up being a circle. So what I want to do is making sure that my working yarn is on my back needle. I'm going to pull that back needle and pull quite a bit of the cord, but still leaving a big loop on this end and a big loop on this other end. That's why they call it magic loop. Now I'm going to take my working yarn and I'm going to start knitting just like I normally would. But see, if I do this right now, it's going to twist that, so I want to make sure that my needle that my working yarn is on the inside of this cord. Does that make sense? So when I do that, now I can go into this. I'm going to knit that first stitch, and so I don't have what's called a jog. I'm going to go ahead and kind of pull that back a little bit, which tightens it. I'm going to do that again on the second one. And now I'm just going to knit across. These first stitches. Now we've come to the end, so I'm going to turn this. Now my stitches on the back, it's where we want them. Now we're going to push or pull, whichever you prefer, this front needle into those front stitches, making sure that the yarn is on the inside, working yarn. I'm going to pull this one out so it forms a loop again. And now I'm going to knit this row. I'm going to pull it a little tight just that first time. Now again, you can just do this one row straight if you prefer, like we had talked about before when we did this, when we start knitting in the round. But I want you to get the concept of using this magic loop, because it is really, really a cool tool. Cool tool? So a lot of times I'll just pull the cord, making sure I've got the right cord, pull it in, pull this one out, so we have loops on both ends. Make sure you have that loop on this other end or all your stitches will squish together again. And then I'm gonna just continue on. So this is one way of knitting in the round where you can do the entire project. You could do your hat like this if you wanted. You could do the cowl with this. It really has a lot of flexibility. If it's easier for you, you can pull this. You'll find your routine if you use this method, whatever works best for you. Pull this. Now my only hesitation with this is making sure that when you're moving from this first 2 stitches on this new needle, pull your stitches back a little bit, which tightens them, and that way you will not have what's called a ladder or a line that goes up where you can see. But there you go. You're just going to continue on across, back and forth, back and forth. So this is one way to knit in the round, and this is a great way when you do decreases on, like say, the hat. You'll be able to use this technique. So that is technique number 1.